MSPs will tell you your product is amazing right before they refuse to pay for it. That's the insight Jeremy Young of Huntress said, and it wrinkled my brain because MSPs love technology. They love testing. They love giving new feedback. But as soon as money enters the conversation, everything changes. So if you don't understand if you're selling to the MSP or through the MSP, what you're building is built on false confidence. So we dug into that to try and help you figure out where you can expose that truth early before your entire business depends on the wrong buyer.
We are the Keyboard Samurai, a podcast focused on sharing insights to help those working in cybersecurity companies, be them technology or services. Each session, your host, Will Klusovsky, aka Will Clue, sits down with professionals in our industry to illuminate topics that will help your security biz, team, or self be better. Let's hack into it now.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Another episode, Keyboard Samurai. As always, please like and subscribe. Those things help. And today I am joined by Jeremy. Jeremy, why don't you give us the 20-30 seconds of who you are and why we care?
Hey, Will, thanks for having me on today. My name is Jeremy Young. I am currently a community strategy person at Huntress Labs. Community Growth Strategist, my title. We'll have to figure out what that means someday. I have been in the cybersecurity space for about a decade or so, and I've been in the channel, specifically in the MSP space, for about 8 years, and have been at helped start the MSP program at Duo, and then was an early employee at Huntress. After a couple of years of kind of growing that up, I took a sabbatical of bringing Blumira into the MSP channel, and after a few years there, came back to Huntress in January. So it's almost been a year, and man, that time flies by. But before that, I got my start in the channel at HP, and then 5 years on the wireline side at Verizon. So kind of full tech stack from networks to apps and everything in between. And been in this world for a while now.
Love it. Yeah, I think a lot of us have that similar track record of like for me, NTT and Avanade, like bigger companies, and then finding ways back into more innovative companies, so to speak, sometimes. So, and I know the pain of having a big title that you're not sure. I've been like senior director of market strategy and client advisory, like all of these other. I go out and talk to people.
Exactly. I'm a people person. I remember it always makes me think of that iconic SNL skit of Will Ferrell playing George Bush debating Al Gore, and it's like, what is your final word of the debate? Strategery. And like that's essentially my job. Strategery.
That's all my resume just says strategery on it. That's just the one thing. So we're chatting about taking products to MSPs and startup scaling, which I love as somebody who advises MSPs and startups both. So I guess to get things started, when you're talking about like taking products to MSPs, what are some of those challenges that those who have those products and are thinking, okay, I've got this solution that I want to bring and I want to create a channel for it in the managed services space. Sort of what's the first thing you kind of tell them or advise them?
Probably the first thing is trying to uncover, and through a series of questions, if they don't already know the answer, like, is there demand for this? Because you can fix a lot of product problems, you can fix a lot of UI problems or a lot of go-to-market problems. It is much harder to create demand than it is to just solve some of the streamline the go-to-market. And so if there's no demand for your solution, you could have the best thing ever, but if nobody cares because there's not like a driving demand for it, MSPs are highly like on the cutting edge of tech adoption. They're techies. They love playing with new tech. So you're gonna feel good. You're gonna get some demos. You're gonna get a lot of interest. You're gonna get a lot of people saying like, "That's awesome. You should do this, this, and this," and it's gonna help you with your product roadmap. But then when you start asking for money, they're gonna be like, "Oh, no, I would not buy. I would buy this. But it's really cool. So like step one, is there demand? And by that, I mean, will someone actually sign on the dotted line and give you money on a recurring basis for the problem that you're solving?
I love that. And it's kind of the same thing I do when I talk to startups. But I didn't think about it in the MSP way before, because my first question is always, what business problem do you solve? Which is the same thing. Like, you can go and find a way to save some analyst 15 minutes of time a day, but if the CEO of some company doesn't care about those 15 minutes, then your product's worth nothing.
Well, and are you selling to or are you selling through the MSP?
Right.
And so where is the demand coming from? Because I personally, like always and never are two words I always remember never to use, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just being recorded. It will come back to bite me. But
Yes.
I don't want to put myself in a position where my livelihood is uh hinging on the decision of an MSP to buy something to make their internal business more profitable, or like make, because so many, and this is not a slight, there are tens of thousands, probably 100,000 plus global MSPs out there, the majority of which are under like 10 employees, and
Mhm.
they're tech people that left their uh, corporate tech job to kind of hang out their own shingle, and they're not necessarily business people. So to your point of like, if the owner doesn't see the value, even though you could like empirical evidence, this is going, your profits will go from A to Z. Like it's gonna, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Versus if it is something, and I've always tried to position myself in the MSP security position of your clients need this, and which means you are going to have to sell it and manage it, like it or not, because it's a part of the tech stack that you're offering, or securing the tech stack that you're offering. So let me find the best way to take that work off your plate while you're still delivering the total solution, and like you're delivering it, we're a part of it, but it's not dollars out of the MSP's pocket per se. It's really a sell through model. And so those like demand and sell to or sell through are going to be the first couple questions I'm asking.
I like that. And it goes right into when I talk about sales enablement. Like, that's the thing people, a lot, the the product sells itself means nobody's going to buy it. Right. That's just something I'm going to say. If the product sells itself, then no one's buying. Right. You have to be able to take your product to the MSSP or the MSP and be like, this is how you make money with my technology or my software or whatever, and make it enticing to both. I've seen lots of times where you partners like, everybody get all the certifications and get on board and go, and they're like, why am I selling this? How do I get paid? Why does it matter? Right. If you don't have a way to enable those salespeople to go and, hit their quota selling your stuff or making your stuff part of their stack, then that's a big gap, right?
Yeah. Sales enablement, definitely. And sales is probably one of the, we're still waiting on somebody to crack the nut there in the MSP space of being able to, for the smaller guys, because there's lots of bigger shops who have kind of figured this out, and actually they have a team of salespeople, and they've got it. But for the probably majority of MSPs out there that are still owner-led sales, giving them a framework that allows them to have repeatable new business. And that's just one of those, are you currently working in your business or on your business type things?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a level of maturity that like you have to eventually get, if you want to grow, you have to eventually get over the hump to where you're going to hire enough salespeople in the various positions to replace yourself. And that's pretty hard for a lot of owners to get out of that, because the idea of replacing myself with then like 3 or 4 people for more mouths to feed, which aren't taking down support tickets, it it takes a while to understand the ROI until you get like a predictable funnel of growth. And then you start to be able to get rid of like Carl Palachuk's old like weed your client garden. be
Mhm.
able to replace some of the bad customers that have low margin and take all of my time with, oh, there's this new customer that's paying 3 times as much and has like no tickets. It's like, yeah,
Never
get more
calls.
of those. That's your ICP.
That's well, I love it because as I got into because similar, like you said, I was working at large enterprise MSPs and MSSPs, and so when I started advising smaller, I didn't realize how many were just chucking a truck, right? And like you said, and they didn't, and a lot of them, basic business acumen, right? Like, are you able to forecast your product? Do you know what selling is, right? Because some of them were just about showing up and being like, this is the way to do it and I want to make more business. And I'd be chatting with those folks and be like, you have to do sales, and you're not equipped to do that. So that means you need to either learn that, which sometimes isn't the option or the right choice, or go, like you said, hire that out. And that idea of there's a certain point when I think there's two things: sales and marketing, or at least go to market. Maybe just lump it all together and go to market.
Sure, yeah.
There's a point where that founder has to go, I'm not expressing this clearly enough. I'm not able to do that. Like, I know the product, but I need somebody else to show and sell that product.
What I've found, or what I've seen multiple times be very successful, which when you're starting a company, partnerships aren't always the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes the marriage goes well, sometimes the marriage goes not so well. But I have seen a lot of success stories where there's a technical owner and there's a business owner. And it's basically kind of like CEO and COO in ownership mentality. And so the business owner builds up the go-to-market side, builds up kind of some of the back office stuff, does most of the selling, can build a sales team. It's all native to them. Same thing for the tech side, builds the tech stack, builds up the help desk team, runs that. And those tend to, in my experience, grow faster from the get-go versus a sole proprietorship that they're constantly having to step out of their comfort zone to do both.
Right. Yeah, and it also, I mean, the comfort zone is the problem, right? Because even if you are skilled in both the sales and the product, or the development, whatever it is, side of it, the fact that you have to go back and forth means your sales cycle is always up and down, because you go out and sell, then you have to deliver, then you go out and sell and you have to deliver. And I've seen enterprise organizations struggle with that because they didn't build the pre-sales team right, or they didn't build the sales organization to support that. So I fully support that.
Enterprise, when you take down a whale, then enterprise sales is always funny to me, because it's like, it's really mostly just product dev hours sold to ginormous organizations, because nothing off the shelf is actually purpose built. And so it's like, oh yeah, we can do that. And then you have to, it's like, that's what the first year of implementation is just like making the product do what you said it was going to do. Versus in the kind of SMB and mid-market space, you have to have a fully baked solution that people can use off the shelf.
Mhm.
And that's a part of why I love working with MSPs, is so many of their use cases are so similar that
Mhm.
like, when you solve a problem for one person, you're solving it for 100,000 across the globe, versus enterprise sales, where it's like, well, we have this one x-ray machine and this one hospital and this one, and we have to support it, and you have to do all this custom stuff. That can get infuriating, but I digress.
I learned early on in my career that if a product company has a workflow or a way to implement it, the best thing for the company to do is to take their process, because they're probably doing it better than you are. The idea of, oh, let's take
Yeah.
your point of sale system or whatever it is and then change it to fit our business process is the bass backwards way to get things done.
You made a comment earlier of, if the product sells itself, like what was it? No, it doesn't.
Nobody
Nobody's
buys it.
actually going to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody buys it. Uh, that's true most of the time, but I do want to like expand upon that into product-led growth,
Mm.
because I do preach a lot of like, find your product-led growth, and it doesn't have to even be anything about the product. And MSPs have been doing this for a long time in the way of like free assessment, free IT assessment.
Pull through.
And yeah, but find something that in your market and your ICP, you can deliver as a low cost free service. And I think that the assessments are kind of played out. So if you can find something that is cheap enough, or a free trial type of a free edition of one of your companies in your tech stack, and you can use that as a tip of the spear, use that as a loss leader to give people a taste of your service, just to pull you into more conversations, it can differentiate you. And so I'll give an example of back in Duo days. Duo was very successful, and Duo was like lightning in a bottle, right time, right place. When the whole world decided to start caring about MFA, and the main competition was hardware RSA tokens. And so it's like, it was a 15-year overnight success story, but one of the things that they did in the PLG, product led growth motion, was it was free for up to 10 users. And what that did was all the techies, all the wills who have like a server at home, a Plex server or something, or they're hosting photos before everybody, Google Photos and Apple Photos, got figured out, but they were hosting stuff at home for their families, and they wanted to protect it. Well, here's this elegant, perfect solution that takes me 10 minutes to implement. And then like 6 months, a year, 2 years later, when the topic of MFA comes up at work, they're like, oh, I got this cool thing. Boop, pushes the button on the phone, unlocks the thing, which feels kind of like magic, or at least it did at the time. And do we want to check that out? So if you think about it like that, of like, what can I give not just companies, but also human beings that bring me into work? The product doesn't have to sell itself. Product can at least get you in the door to that, to have a sales cycle.
Yeah, I like the idea of product led growth. I think is a little, I would say, different than what I said, like product sells itself kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't, but to your point though, you have to give people have to have a reason to use it, right? You need to find that reason, or that, and that it works great from, I haven't seen a lot of success in doing like free assessments really, but when you have a paid assessment and the pull through, you're like, here's the thing we found, or you do a workshop, things like that for me has been pretty successful. It's like, well, we want to do this thing, like AI has been the big one. Hey, can you implement this AI tool for us? Yes, I can, but do you even know what you want to do with it yet? No. Okay, well, let's not scope out in a giant engagement. Let's have a workshop and figure out what your business wants to do. And then you identify all the other things. It's a similar thing. Like you find that little thing they need. And I think that works really well. We see it all the time on the consumer side of the house. Hey, here's this free trial, right? And then you can't live without it. So
something that we've been seen success with is kind of gamification of incident response preparedness.
Sweet.
And so there's some digital games out there. There's what's the one from Black Hills InfoSec?
The breachers and
backdoors and breaches.
Yeah, I gotta fix it.
And then Huntress actually created a Monopoly style board game that if you email community@Huntress, maybe we can send you one, and then you can use that to play with either current customers that you want to expand your security services, or take it like what we've had some MSPs do successfully is like invite people to like a lunch and learn, and then play it with a group of half a dozen or so people over after a steak lunch, and run through runs you through the scenarios. But backdoors and breaches is really made for like technical.
Yeah, it's very
people.
technical,
it's security
right?
analyst. This is a much more business owner, non-tech, non-security, but it takes them through that style of incident response preparedness with consequences, but you're rolling dice, and it feels very friendly and it feels very accessible, but there's still actual consequences of the game that teach the moral of like, oh, maybe you should do some of this stuff.
Right.
So using that type of gamification of incident response preparedness has led to a bunch of new business for some of the MSPs that we work with.
Yeah, I would echo that. Yeah, that to me, like, I love tabletops. They are so much fun. Even though I'm not like down the technical weeds, I understand what the technical people are saying, and then I get to throw monkey wrenches into it, and be like, well, wait, wouldn't this happen? And they're like, oh yeah, and I've had a lot
You
of
got to
people
call Dan. Dan's on vacation. Dan, get out of the room.
exactly. I've had to that point, like the whole idea of like, having people in that room and experience it. And I've had somebody ask me one time, when talking about like getting budget or convincing the board or leaderships how they want to do, what if the C-suite's not seeing eye to eye? So just do a tabletop engagement. I was like, just for whatever it is that you want to buy, procure, build, grow, like however you plan on expanding your business or whatever you want to do, go and have a tabletop engagement about that scenario, like, and the fact that you don't have this thing that you need, and then watch them react.
Yeah. Is that an acceptable outcome?
Yeah. Are you guys okay?
Are we okay with that risk?
Is this risk accepted? So, that's outstanding. Yeah. Well, Jeremy, this has been awesome, man. Where can people find you on the interwebs if they want to?
LinkedIn.com/n/jyoung1216. I am also just Jeremy at Huntress if you're looking for me, but I go to I saw you at Exchange Next Gen just a couple months ago, and so I'm out on the circuit. So feel free to stop by and say hi if you see me out and about. Would love to chat with you. Love talking shop. But yeah, Jeremy at huntress.com or LinkedIn/n/jyoung1216.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate your time, brother.
Thanks for enjoying Keyboard Samurai Podcast. If you'd like to engage, find Will on LinkedIn at /WillClue or visit at willclue.me. That's WILKLU.me for more info. Disconnecting now. Synac you later.